Welcome, everybody, to the Final Assault VR Master League. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's, and if you are just tuning in, you stopped by for a bronze tier matchup. Prefontaine versus Master Gaming in this wonderful active league that we have over here in Final Assault. If you're not involved, head on over to vrmasterleague.com/Final Assault. You can register for the league and be playing up against some of these guys. We are going to be hopping into Chateau Todd, a one-lane map that does have some side auxiliary bases that allow you to put up some interesting troop transportation options. And both players in lobby, ready to go. Prefontaine opting in for the Wolves division, and Master Gaming opting in for Beaumont. So we have the tank v air, I believe. And let's just get right into it. Let's hop into map number 1. Both players eagerly awaiting with headsets on, so I don't want to keep them waiting any longer as we hop into map number 1 of the series. Look at these beautiful caster updates. Nice, smooth. Oh, just awesome. Game has never looked better. Both squads. Let's see what the opening strat is for these guys. If we see any early artillery placement, early troop transports, anything like that. Yeah, and this is pretty standard. I think both players are going to end up taking control of these auxiliary sort of berms here. They do have the AA kind of out there a little bit to help defend against any air units that want to come in. And putting an artillery up here on this hill is going to be huge. That's what MasterGamingVR is doing right now. He's getting that position up there, so he'll have artillery launching down onto these troops as they come down this middle lane. For a second there, Master Gaming doing a little harassment onto Prefontaine's towers. Prefontaine had to react, throw a tank over there. And Master Gaming VR has full lane control. He's got two artillery units sort of suppressing this line, as well as a fighter dive bombing and strafing this lane. You can see he's got that path there. Take out any other units that come down. And Prefontaine, I'm not sure what he's doing right now. I think he's stashing up on... What has he got? He has unlocked his tier 2. Master Gaming sitting at 30 gold here. Not paying attention, getting too focused on the micro and not paying attention to sending in more units and upgrading. Finally does get a couple units down. Still hasn't upgraded to tier 2. Still not. I mean, if Master Gaming gets up to upgrades these units to tier 2, he gets control of his anti-tank turrets. He puts these up here, and they have such long range that they could fire right down onto the base turrets of Prefontaine, and Prefontaine has to do something about this, or he's going to be in trouble. Not sure actually what's going on with... I think we have a little visual bug. Yeah, we're definitely getting a little visual bug there with that lane and those troops. Well, this is interesting. I'm not sure where the troops are for Prefontaine. Either way, Prefontaine has got an artillery truck in this back line here. It's doing some work on some of this back line defense. Does get one artillery tank down. But in the meantime, Master Game VR has amassed his army and still sitting at 30 gold, not unlocking the tier 2s again. And I'm unsure if we are having spectating issues here or what, because I'm seeing a lot of tanks sitting stable, not getting any sort of movement. This artillery truck is trying to push up here. And you can see Prefontaine was trying to macro a kind of like a unique path there to defend against artillery and AA. Couldn't quite get that down. And boy, I think we're just having an odd spectator bug going on here where we're just not seeing all of the units come down the lane. But artillery is shooting, so I'm curious. Let's assume that there's battles going on here between troops in the middle. I don't know what tanks are real on Master Gaming VR and what aren't anymore at this point. Finally, some tier 2 units coming in from Master Gaming VR. Maybe we'll start to see some of those heavy, anti-tank artillery units. And I think what's happening is yeah, this is really, we're definitely getting some lag here on these, on what units are being bought and what units are being sent out. I just can't quite read what's happening. I'm not sure why Master Gaming has nothing going on his. It's just very odd. I think we're dealing with a spectator bug here. We're just not seeing the whole game right now. Although MasterGamingVR is consistently sitting at 30 gold, and Prefontaine is as well, I feel like these guys are just getting stuck in the micro. No new units coming out. I'm not sure what the strategy is from these guys, from either one of them right now. They definitely need to be getting more consistent units bought. There's no troop transports being put down, but maybe again that could be a visual bug on our end. So strange. What a strange spectating game right now. 2 artillery trucks now on this bottom lane. 1 turret almost going down here as these artillery trucks lay into it. And I think he is going to get the first tower down. MasterGamingVR losing one of his main towers and sitting on so much money. Prefontaine still hasn't bought additional units, hasn't upgraded to tier 3. MasterGamingVR finally getting tier 3. Maybe we'll start seeing some of those heavy mobile artillery trucks, tanks come out. But right now, I don't know what either one of these guys are doing with their economy. Just I can't see the lane battle, so I'm not sure where that's really happening. It looks like Master Gaming was sending tanks somewhere over to Prefontaine. I'm gonna do some sleuthing around and figure out what's actually happening and what we're missing and seeing. Yeah, there is finally that heavy artillery truck does come out here, does kill some tanks somehow, but ultimately gets taken down by the artillery truck. Yeah, we're definitely lagging hard on what we're spectating here. Very interesting stuff. I do apologize for the tech difficulties. We'll try and hash these out. Make sure we get a clear spectating experience to you guys. Finally, tier 2 units. I think this is the first anti-tank unit MasterGamingVR has brought out. And if he just sets these up on this ridgeline here, he'll have such good command of the map. Be able to easily take out new units that come in, and like I said, be able to pepper these towers from a super long distance. So MasterGamingVR could be a serious threat to Prefontaine, but just isn't getting those anti-tank artillery units out. Really strange. Let me see what MasterGamingVR's channel's looking like. He's another fellow streamer, so make sure you stop on over there. Does look like we have a missile strike coming out, or sorry, an artillery strike coming out from MasterGamingVR over onto Prefontaine's corner here. I don't see a lot of units. Just 1 troop truck that ultimately doesn't even get destroyed. But let's see what we should be seeing. Such a strange spectator bug, people. I don't know what this is. I haven't had this happen before. Let's go to YouTube. Maybe he's live there. I'm trying to find alternate sources of info here so I can get you deets on what's happening in the game, because we're not seeing units that are battling right now. That is for sure. Yeah, there's all sorts of artillery going off over here and tons of units planted by Prefontaine on this corner. We are definitely not seeing everything. No, I don't want to quit. Weird. We are definitely bugged out here on this spectate. You can see their actions, but we're not seeing the units come out. Spectator bugs. And I can't cancel the game because I'm host, so I don't want to end the game for both of these guys, so we're going to let them play it out. But at the moment, it's just a ton of units right here on this choke. You can't see it. Wow, this is an odd spectator bug, guys. But yeah, head over to MasterGamingVR's stream and you can see the action happening on this corner. He's live on YouTube right now. He's still, even on this screen though, he hasn't set up any anti-tank artillery units on that ridge line. And instead he's relying on the mobile artillery units to try and get up here and take out all of these tanks and troop transports that are here pressuring this lane. Not working out for him. What an odd spectator bug. I apologize for this, people. I'm not sure. We'll just have to report it and hopefully get it fixed. And ideally, we'll do a game restart and it won't happen again next round. I think this was... Maybe this bug was reported already. In the caster's channel. Here. See if we can get all the info. I'll get the info. I'll get the deets. You guys just imagine what's happening in front of you. Or watch MasterGamingVR's stream right now. Yeah, a sync issue after 2 minutes into the match, so... I think we just kind of got... we got unsynced. Hopefully it doesn't happen again next round. I can't resync it, because like I said, I can't re-host. We'll just let these guys play it out. I guess we could... I'm debating if we want to show Master Gaming's VR stream here instead, so at least we'll get a perspective. I got this, everybody. All right. Right now, we've tuned into Master Gaming VR's stream. Or at least getting the perspective of what's happening here. Audio is obviously delayed on what we're seeing versus what we're seeing on Master Gaming's stream, but... There we go. We'll just bump that down and tune in to at least what we can, so we can see what's going on. Master Game VR trying to deal with these troops. You can see that there's a couple of troop trucks over on that far lane, and a huge missile coming in from Prefontaine, trying to nullify any of that base defense. He wants these troops to push up on this lane and get up into the face of this turret that he's already destroyed. He's getting real close to destroying that second turret, and he'll be pressuring in onto Master Gaming VR shortly here. Master Gaming VR, all of these troops not going to be able to be killed effectively by that anti-tank artillery, by that light unit he has there. So he is going to have to op into some of the Calliopes, I believe they're called. Those the heavy artillery. You can see him now sending one into a circle route so it doesn't get hit by any other long-range artillery. I don't think he needs to send that Calliope into a circle. I think he can just sit it where it is. And now actually getting onto the offensive, Master Game VR is sending one into that little corner, tucked a heavy artillery tank in there, and it's attacking, but he's getting pressured onto his HQ. He's lost that main base turret, and now Prefontaine is sending in just troop truck after troop truck. He's got the artillery truck there just slamming into any units that come out of Master Game VR's base, and if he's not careful, things are not going to work out well for him. He needs maybe one or two more air units to help clear out all of these troops coming in, but I wonder how much longer he can hold on. I just think he's not, the proper response here is more of these heavy artillery. They're really doing work on these troops. Instead, he's trying to backdoor Prefontaine. I do apologize. I was looking at... Sorry. We went away from the stream there for a second. I was checking on quality. I forgot that we were watching MasterGamingVR instead. He is our main perspective since we're out of sync on the stream. I do apologize for that. We don't have any game audio, but we do have game content at the very least, considering that otherwise we'd have nothing, so... Currently just watching MasterGamingVR, Master Gaming trying to get into this back door, trying to deal with all of these troops, but he is just getting slammed on that corner. He's let Prefontaine just put troop truck after troop truck up over into that far right corner. He sent one artillery barrage there, but maybe that just wasn't effective enough for him to try it again. And so he's just stuck here dealing with this constant pressure, constantly having to spawn in heavy artillery, and I think now the push is coming in from Prefontaine. The back door is working a little bit. He's managed to get one turret. There's the artillery strike. Yikes, the big push coming in here onto the defense. A nice missile launch does catch out a couple heavy artillery. Now they're rotating back. He managed to micro them out of the way. But there's so many units on Master Gaming's base right now. I think he's going to be able to hold on a little bit longer. What he really needs right now is a troop transport. I don't know if you do notice there, but Master GameVR using an index. Final assault with index support. Right here, live in front of your face. Hopefully we'll be back to the spectating menu once we get into our second map. But we're still on map number 1. And it's been a bit of a long one. Master GameVR and Prefontaine just sort of battling it out. Finally, an artillery strike coming in for Master GameVR onto that main line, that main front line, where Prefontaine is spawning in units, and I think it was pretty successful. I think he caught a couple of troop transports there. Now if he can get this strafe going, I say he puts another fighter there, and yeah, he's going to try and keep doing this backdoor. He's managed to defend now that corner where he's lost 2 turrets. He's got some flame tanks dealing with those troops pretty quickly, and that back line of heavy artillery kind of dumping tons of rounds out onto that lane. I guess I can't check chat. If I check chat, we'll lose our perspective on Master GamingVR. Just gonna have to sit here and watch him furiously spawn units trying to defend his base. There's a couple artillery trucks just kind of nestled up into this corner here, doing some work on anything that pushes out. But nothing's gonna get past that's why Master GameVR sent those artillery on a rotation. Because what Prefontaine was doing was harassing by sending a truck out that would then hit the artillery a little bit, do some damage, and then come back. And you can see that truck's hitting him a little bit as they rotate, but far less than normal. And here comes a missile strike again onto those artillery. Prefontaine trying to deal with all these artillery trucks. Oh, I thought a missile was coming in. That's what at least I... Oh, that was the audio notification for the cash drop that he got. I do apologize. And wow, dude, Master Gaming is holding on to this map. But yeah, this map's interesting because it's a single lane. The way it's set up is you have these sort of corners where you can put troop trucks. So you see that's what Prefontaine has done. He's put one truck into that corner. And it's just sending units straight down, right into the front line to battle the troops right away, and then also to just constantly be pressuring that bottom lane. I don't know what the play is here. I think, yeah, another artillery strike there, and then Master Gaming needs to amass an army and try and flank and push up along, use the corner up there that he's looking at now to his advantage, and because he's got 2 towers down, so he could really get behind. He could hit the enemy base if he wanted to right now, if he put a couple heavy artillery trucks to rotate around that backside there. Uh-oh. Buffering. To apologize for the quality. Oh gosh, it's gotten real bad. Yikes. That's what I get for trying to watch a stream and host the match at the same time. I think this is the push, though, coming in from Prefontaine, and a nuke barrage, followed up by a ton of tanks, and there he's trying to push his way in. And I wonder if this is the right time for Master Gaming to send those units around to that backside, because there is a huge army, and as he's actually going to artillery in his own base. And he is losing hard right now. Can Master Gaming rebound in time? And he may lose this map as Prefontaine does take out the HP, and Master Gaming VR is down. Apologies for having to spectate that way. Hopefully we don't get out of sync in this next one. Can't seem to exit. Give me a sec, I'm gonna restart, and then we'll get back into it. Okay, final assault. Yeah, I'm restarting. I'll be in there in a sec. Just patiently dealing with some technical difficulties. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and dealing with this. Or I guess not dealing, but patiently watching as we try and hash this out. We're going to have to update that stream title as well. We'll do that after we create the game and dive on it. So I got the right map for the second one of the day. It is Forest Edge. Both players know. Lobby should be up. Lobby should be up. Forest Edge. Forest Edge, a little bit different than your other standard maps with 2 towers apiece on a lane. Because of how the lanes converge, it's definitely a bit of a unique map in that sense. We're getting, I was gonna say, I don't think we're getting a change in class here, but it does look like Gallon is gonna be coming in for Prefontaine this time instead of Wolf. Ideally, we won't disconnect this time. Or desync, and we won't have to go watch Master Gaming. But if we do, that's what we'll do. Forest Edge, though, that's where we're headed. And it is going to be Galland versus Beaumont. Beaumont, obviously the American tank unit, and Galland, the German tank. Oh, it looks like we're going to have two Gallands. Galland v. Galland. We wait on MasterGamingVR to ready up. Looking forward to how these teams, how these players face off against each other with these two divisions on this map as we hop into Forest Edge map number 2. Prefontaine taking the first one against MasterGamingVR. We'll see how MasterGamingVR respawns as we dive in. Yeah, $231 wasted in that last round. And per player, that's quite a lot of cash not coming in. And just look at the difference here on this map, how much larger the scale is on this map. There's so much more room to play with. This back corner can go completely untouched by some players. They oftentimes can neglect to try and capture this corner as they focus their attention on this center lane and this far left lane. So we'll see if MasterGamingVR, it looks like he is going to be paying his attention here to the center and left. And already, Master Gaming at 30 cash. I think he was doing a... Oh, I did not get that right. They're not... sorry, Von Ritter is not the German tank. Yeah, he is. Nichols is German Air. I was thinking he was German Air for a second. No, Von Ritter is... Gosh, who am I getting mixed up? Galland. Yeah. Okay, we got it right. It's just he also has the dive bomber. Oh, it's not German tank, it's German infantry. Well, it does make sense. Prefontaine went super heavy infantry last time, but he wasn't the proper class, so not getting the best buy. Yeah, one thing you got to know is your divisions matter a lot on terms of what units you're going to buy. So how your play style is already determined on the division that you choose. We should see a lot more troop trucks here from both sides than we did last time, although there was a lot of troop trucks from Prefontaine. The idea being that now that they're both Galland, their troop trucks cost has gone down quite a bit, so those troop trucks are a lot cheaper to buy, and you can see MasterGamingVR trying to nestle a bazooka truck back here in the corner. Nice positioning, and it's giving him a nice advantage here as his artillery pounds this turret and the bazookas start to approach up here. He might get an early turret kill. He is really hammering this turret. Prefontaine has to respond or he's going to lose that front turret real fast. He's been so focused on this corner. Basically, the opposite of what I said was going to happen has happened to Prefontaine. He's so focused on taking control of this corner of the map that he has sort of neglected the center and the upper half of his... I mean, now he has no chance of retaking this. 3 tanks to defend the artillery. Bazooka line coming in pretty heavy. 3 bazookas here. So they've sort of stacked up after fighting that first tower. And if he follows this up with artillery and pushes these tanks forward, oh yeah, he's gonna get that airdrop, a nice cash reserve coming in there, and the dive bombers as a response to these tanks. And this is one thing I've wanted to see. I've wanted to see how the macro between air has been changed. I know one of the recent patches made some adjustments to the AI of the air units, so I'd love to see a little bit more of the micros, between these two battling out in the air. We're not going to get too much of that, although air units are a great way of taking out and strafing lanes. We don't seem to be seeing too much of that now. And actually, I'm not seeing a whole lot of anything. I'm just wondering what Prefontaine is trying to do here. Where is his cash going? So far, it seems to be mostly invested here in the south, but he has to push essentially 3 turrets He's picked the hardest lane to mass up and push. If he had instead opted to go on this side where he's already lost one turret, you know, he doesn't have to deal with 3 at a time. He can kind of pick off that one like MasterGamingVR has and then charge down. We'll see if this does pay off. He's finally started to actually make some good damage onto the front line here. And you can see MasterGamingVR trying to respond and clean up these excessive amounts of troops by sending a couple planes and strafing this lane. I think that's the 3rd plane he's just spawned in now to strafe the lane, so heavily investing in that. And we actually should see quite a big air battle come out pretty shortly. Prefontaine has mashed a bunch of air units over this artillery here. He wants to make sure that his bazooka trucks are safe from dive bombers that are now doing work to the bottom half of MasterGamingVR's army. And this is Prefontaine's answer. He's going to keep trying to send dive bombers out to that bottom half while he maintains superiority down here in the south. He's got his anti-air. He's got the fighter planes, and he's finally starting to push in on these turrets. He's almost got one turret down. It's just not going to be easy. And I'm surprised to not see more troop trucks from either one of these guys, considering the cost of troop trucks and how they are cheaper since they have both picked Gallon. We're not seeing really a ton of bazooka or troop trucks being placed, except for the ones that were initially placed at the start of the round. These bazookas are just harassing Prefontaine down here. He has to deal with this bazooka truck. And I think another one's been spawned. Yes, it has. It's kind of tucked in behind the anti-air. So 3 bazooka trucks sending down this lane. And he is just hammering onto these towers. The artillery and the 2 towers are defending, but not entirely well. And I don't think we're getting desynced, which is great. We are experiencing a little bit of it now. Look at the army massed up down here. Prefontaine does a good job of getting a nice little forward army set up, but he just doesn't really pressure anywhere else on the map. He has so many units focused here, all his attention focused here. You know, you see his character very rarely move away from this side of the map. He very rarely invests any time up here, where you see Master Gaming, I guess, hasn't really left his base in a while either, sort of setting up more defenses, putting out more troop trucks, and I think we are getting desynced now, unfortunately, from some of the action. But this push, man, so many bazookas. And they fire from such a long range. They fire this entire time while running down the lane. And there's the first turret down for Prefontaine, MasterGamingVR. Uh-oh, here comes the missile. Right onto the defense. Doesn't even destroy the troop trucks, though, so he's still going to have to deal with that thick troop line. And yeah, we're definitely getting desynced as the action unfolds here, unfortunately. I wonder how out of sync we are. I'm going to do a little check here. It looks like we're seeing most of what's happening. The consistent harassment from MasterGamingVR onto these towers is doing quite a good job, and honestly, he's done well to defend from Prefontaine's really non-stop pushing down here on the south. Only losing one turret, all the while constantly peppering this top side on Prefontaine. I mean, he's going to get a chance at Prefontaine's base pretty soon here. And here you see the anti-tank tank coming in. Tank destroyer, excuse me. And this thing has such long range. It can sit back here and pound these turrets. And any artillery turret that tries to come out and take out this tank destroyer is going to have a bad time. Prefontaine has to react to this. But I don't even know if Prefontaine notices. Finally, I think he does see this tank destroyer just slamming into his defense turrets. Yep, he's sent out the dive bombers, but these tank destroyers are thick. Top tier units for Gowland, and man, it is doing work on this turret. And I think he's going to open up the base here pretty soon. Take a look over at this side, how Prefontaine's push is going. A couple of normal tanks himself, followed up by his bazooka trucks, and it seems like he's getting denied by the troops that we don't see there that are being desynced for us. Although it is a looking pretty heavy push here. These tanks have gotten up and are firing onto this turret. He may be able to take out his the second base turret for MasterGamingVR, but Prefontaine, he has to shift his attention and shift his focus to this side. Maybe put up a couple of tank destroyers himself, because if MasterGamingVR sends some tank destroyers over to this side, I mean, they could be taking out, they could be shooting on his base from a pretty good distance. I know you're desynced, but MasterGamingVR is really just battling these troops here right at his doorstep. He's hammering him with a lot of strafing from these planes. Prefontaine can't send up any of his fighters to deal with these, because if he does, they'll be peppered by the anti-air that's here defending him. So a nice way to keep these troops at bay. But all Prefontaine has to do is mass up a couple of tank destroyers and send them in. There, he's going to be in trouble. And here's the combo that MasterGamingVR is going to try and put he's going to try and put the hurt here. He's going to send out a tank destroyer followed by the anti-air and a few normal tank units. So the push coming in from MasterGamingVR on the south, and this could be game if Prefontaine's not careful. Does he see this happening down here? It does look like his attention is directed as those artillery units slam into that tank line. Does manage to get one artillery unit down. The anti-air is here, but it's going to start to get hit by artillery as well. And it's in the base. It's shooting the anti-air, but yeah, it goes down pretty quickly as it gets a little too close for comfort. And now basically he's just stuck here with two tank destroyers getting slammed by the artillery. He needs to get them up and shooting on these artillery. Does get one, and a second normal tank, not another tank destroyer, comes in, may deal with the artillery. Yeah, he's going to keep the push coming here. Rerouting that tank destroyer, that's a smart choice. Although he may have been able to get some shots onto Prefontaine's base with that tank destroyer, he instead decides to save it for a push. MasterGamingVR still strafing this lane. Bazooka trucks loaded up here in this corner. And there's, I think, the first tank destroyer I've seen come out from Prefontaine. We'll see how effective it can be. I think we are just a little bit desynced, but that tank destroyer may be able to get at least one turret here. Ooh, does take out the artillery. He's actually going to turn it back now. He wants to hold on to that one. Yeah, it's a nice choice. In the meanwhile, he's re-artilleried up this side for defense, and Prefontaine is just barely holding on. MasterGamingVR, if he just gets the right combo of units to push in on the base, it's going to be over for Prefontaine. But I do apologize for the desync that we're seeing here. I wish I could actually see where the action's happening. I think we might have to go back to watching MasterGamingVR's perspective. At the very least, we'll see live what's going on as he begins the push onto the base. I think he sends, yeah, he's got his tank destroyer shooting the base, and this is what I was talking about. Prefontaine is open to a base attack. But so is MasterGamingVR. That bottom lane is super vulnerable. Really only one turret that's going to deny these troops, and he's just relying so heavily on these planes to strafe and deny these troops from pushing in while he tries to do damage to the base on the backside. He's almost got it to half health. Oh, sorry. Forgot that we were watching the perspective there. Not something we would normally do, but when we're desynced, it's just a little bit better to get a clear perspective on what's actually happening live instead of sort of seeing what's happening. We'll definitely have to report this one and get that spectator bug fixed so we don't have these issues in the future, because there's going to be more Final Assault, especially after the World Gamers Conference in China, I believe, where Final Assault's having a tournament. I think Sally's Bradley's going up, and a couple of other folks pretty prominent in the community should be there. Definitely going to want to keep the content delivering, keep the content delivered to you guys, so get those spectator bugs hashed out and more consistent Final Assault casts coming your way. Prefontaine, I mean, MasterGamingVR is just looking at that base, longing to do damage, but he can't. He has to deal with this insane barrage of bazooka troops, and he's dealing with them pretty well by sending these planes and having these just two fighters strafe. And yeah, we're just all sorts of desynced on the perspective, so we're going to be making sure we watch MasterGamingVR here. You may notice that the push on the Prefontaine is completely stopped. No more tank destroyers being invested there, no more units being shipped there. Instead, he's trying to deal with the massive amount of troops that Prefontaine is throwing at this lane. And this is sort of what Prefontaine tried to do last round as well, just not maybe with the right class. Seems to be going a little bit better for him here, but again, he's getting stalled at this point where he's trying to get into the base. He just can't seem to break through. It's like a war of attrition for Prefontaine. It's just not paying off here. Looks like he's going to try and push the base again. Having his tank destroyers focus that front line there, trying to get some anti-air up as well to defend, as he notices the dive bombers are really peppering his tank destroyers. And now that he's taken out those tanks, he's redirecting his tank destroyers onto the base, doing a little bit more backdoor damage there. think Prefontaine's getting wise to the strafing. He started to try and get anti-air units positioned up into that front line so that he can take out any of those fighters strafing his troops, but seems to get dive bombed. MasterGamingVR is trying to do a little bit of a similar strategy, get that anti-air up on the front line, and he was so focused on the attack on the backside, he's now real close to having his bottom line broken through. Ooh, a good artillery strike does catch... Sorry, missile strike does catch one of the artillery, but not the 4 that were clumped together just off to the side of it. And finally, MasterGamingVR tried to put a dent into the... Oh, my audio is too far behind, sorry. Put a dent into this Prefontaine attack. Backdoor the troop transports, and I wonder if it's too late now. These troops are really into the base of MasterGamingVR. This may be Prefontaine's map here. Look at all those bazooka units. They are clumped up, easy for an artillery strike. Could be dealt with nicely. And that is what's happening. That one artillery tank is doing so much work. And yeah, he needs to redirect these other artillery units that are just sitting there, useless, to sort of deal with all of this thick conglomeration of troops that's happening here. Meanwhile, tank destroyers on the other side for MasterGamingVR are paying off. Just a free cash drop sitting there, too. I'm going to try and answer that push with tanks. Oof, wow, these tank destroyers really poking hard on a Prefontaine's base. All he has to do is keep sending tanks down that lane, and yeah, this tank destroyer, man, almost has taken down Prefontaine's health to nothing. MasterGamingVR will take the series if he can get this second map. Oh! And it looks like we have a finish from MasterGamingVR. He has defeated Prefontaine. He's managed to sneak in the backside of the defense. And that's map number 2 for MasterGamingVR. I believe it is, right? Or did Prefontaine win? Am I mistaken? I think no. Wait, did Prefontaine win last round? Chat, correct my wrongness. I think Prefontaine won the last round. Chat, help me out. Operation Daylight. Back to the standard 2-lane. Lobbies up. Don't do... Prefontaine made a lobby. You have to join my lobby. You have to join my lobby. You join Prefontaine because he made a lobby because he's out of mine. Well, I have neither of you in the lobby. Alright, let me try remaking. Whatever you want, man. Whatever you want it to be. Alright, lobby's up. We'll be diving in soon. Alright. Very good. Looks like we're going to have a Wolf versus Beaumont. Back to that first roster battle that we had earlier. The American tank versus the German tank. Let's get right into it. Map number 3. Okay, so I was wrong. It is a tiebreaker here. Apologies for that. Thank you for the information. Phil Henry, thank you so much. Shout out to everybody watching in the stream. Apologies for the tech difficulties that we have had and that we've had to spectate other streams, but it's just how it's gone. And now you want to take a look at the difference in map size. I mean, wow, this is like it's exponentially smaller, way more focused. The micro here should be a big deal, so we'll see how these guys deal with that. What sort of troop compositions they go with here, and the artillery coming in early. It's a nice idea here to just sit on this other side and pepper the troop units as they come. It looks like we have an audio bug. So if you're not hearing any game audio, I do apologize. But look at this. The early artillery play from MasterGamingVR. He set up 3 tanks to defend this one artillery unit, and it is just slamming into both the troops and that front turret. But the reason there's nothing coming out from Prefontaine is because he waited for that quick tier 2 upgrade, and he sent out that artillery truck. The mobile artillery truck is doing some work. It does catch out that one artillery unit, and now he's trying to micro that and deal with these tanks that are sort of started to push up onto his front line as they realize they're getting maybe a little bit too close to that turret. And yeah, I like this move from Prefontaine. He's going to send these the rocket trucks, artillery trucks, into these circular loops here. It's going to be hard for MasterGamingVR to push in and effectively deal with these trucks as they basically circle around here on this lane. And he is amassing them. Here comes his third one. And yeah, this is going to be real hard to break into this insane artillery line. He's actually doing work as they just kind of pass by the turret. Oh my goodness. This mobile truck strategy is doing work for Prefontaine. MasterGamingVR has to be feeling the pressure here. He has upgraded to tier 2, and he is going to try and get out some anti-tank artillery. Maybe that will be the solution. I don't think it has an angle, though. I don't think it can shoot through these bushes that these artillery units are lobbing their rounds over. And yeah, this is not looking good for MasterGamingVR. He needs to get some, I don't know what the response is here, a bunch of jeeps maybe to sort of deal with these fast-moving artillery trucks. Whatever he's doing, it is not working right now. Maybe he needs to start to try and put some pressure onto the base of Prefontaine by amassing units up on this side, but these artillery trucks, how many does he have now? 4 artillery trucks circling around here in the center of the map. These things are doing work, and they just kind of pass by this tower and pepper. Jeez, they just slam into these units. So it totally opens up The right play, I think, here is to set up a bunch of troop trucks on this bottom side now that he has complete control, and just have a bunch of troops be pressuring this tower. Yikes, MasterGamingVR in a tough spot right now, as he is going to lose this second turret pretty soon. He does get a heavy artillery unit out, and that's going to be the answer back that he's going to need. Maybe he can catch 1 or 2 trucks here. But he's lost his turret. And now there's a total of 5 trucks out for Prefontaine. Oh my goodness. It is a battle of mobile artillery here on the base of MasterGamingVR. Man, I don't know if this is the right answer. MasterGamingVR can definitely come back from this early deficit if he starts to get his artillery kind of circling around in his base, defending from these trucks that are just peppering his line. He tried to get out there and get that airdrop, but did not succeed. Not going to Prefontaine. A nice cash influx there for him. Probably get down a few more artillery trucks. Finally one going down. Jeeps coming in from MasterGamingVR to try and deal with the trucks, but those just get eaten up. And it's just a non-stop spawning of artillery trucks out here from Prefontaine. He's found what's worked for him. But again, we run into the issue of Prefontaine finishing off the rounds and pushing into the base. It seems to be one of his main weaknesses, is really finalizing a round where he has an advantage. I think he needs to get these trucks into the base of MasterGamingVR here. He has both turrets down. I'm not sure what he's waiting for to try and do base damage. I think he's just nervous about losing control of the map. But eventually, these artillery trucks are going to die from the mobile artillery hitting it, every other shot. There goes one. And he re-ups. Now there's 6 artillery trucks out right now. But he's given a lot of time to MasterGamingVR here to send out a couple of those Calliopes, I believe they're called, the mobile artillery that he has. Here comes more troop trucks from Prefontaine. Surprising to see him try and get the troop advantage when he obviously has this advantage he's been working with these mobile artillery trucks. The troops have not been his friend. He has gotten close with them, but ooh, the army he has here on the corner, an airstrike coming in from Prefontaine onto the back line does get 2. And now comes the attack from him. He's trying to send all his tanks and artillery trucks up to the base of Prefontaine. A quick anti-tank comes out. And yeah, that's the 2 anti-tank turrets in the back are saving this line as they do work on this tank as it pushes on to MasterGamingVR's base. And he's starting to lose health quick onto his base. All these tanks sitting here, man, if he just had a few mobile artillery trucks to deal with this too, he'd really be pounding damage onto him. But he has lost his main army, and MasterGamingVR answering back with a ton of tanks spawned on his own. And I think Prefontaine could be on the back foot here if MasterGamingVR can get this army into the right position. He's trying to send it out. These artillery trucks slamming into this tank line as it advances out of his base. Now up back to 4 artillery trucks. 3 anti-tank units out here, kind of tucked into the back by these other 2 turrets for MasterGamingVR. These 2 anti-tank turrets really saved him from losing this map. And it's important to remember, this is the tiebreaker. 1 map apiece going to both players, so the winner of this will take the series. Look at the army tucked into the corner here. It's almost like Prefontaine doesn't even see all these tanks over here. Wow, just getting peppered by those artillery trucks as he tried to come out and push down the main lane. I think MasterGamingVR has the advantage here as he has the heavy artillery, the heavy mobile artillery sitting on the back. Definitely has a bit longer range than the artillery trucks as well, so is able to kind of sit there and have an effect in the middle of this lane, whereas these trucks have to sort of circle themselves up in the middle of the action. And yeah, you may see some odd observer bugs here, just like that one, as the anti-tank artillery comes out in a very odd fashion, but a nice spot for it as it gets slammed by these trucks, still alive with just a scrape of health left. And this is MasterGamingVR retaking map control. He's got a heavy tank in the center, sort of deal with the troops as they come out from the multitudes of troop tucks that Prefontaine has invested in. Still no tier 3 buy for Prefontaine either onto Wolf, so sticking with troop trucks and artillery trucks as his main source of damage, but now he's starting to lose control of the map. The anti-tank artillery set up and is now actually starting to pepper from a long distance Prefontaine's turrets. Yikes. Prefontaine's invested so much in all of these troop trucks that he just doesn't have the way means of answering back and pushing up to this line that MasterGamingVR has created. He's definitely going to lose at least this turret. Yeah, I tried to reposition those. And that was actually a prediction by MasterGamingVR. He anticipated that this missile was going to come in way ahead of time, and he started to move these artillery units away before the bell even started to ring for the missile, so he knew that was coming. Managed to avoid it very nicely. Now he still has all 3 of his turrets up in this on this line here, just peppering Prefontaine. I like seeing the full list of units as well, seeing what these guys are buying. The overhead sort of giving you perspective of where the current layout of units is. And man, this anti-tank line here really making it hard for these turrets, these rocket trucks to get out and do damage, but this is what he needs to do. He needs to position them into spots where they can sort of launch over walls. MasterGamingVR is just not making it easy. He's reinforcing this line. He's putting heavy artillery, mobile artillery, and heavy trucks. And I'm not sure what happened there. Definitely a spectator bug on our end, but I think that was an artillery strike. Or a missile launch, excuse me. Yeah, that's what that was. A desynced missile launch from us, but that missile launch doing some work on the defensive line for Master Gaming VR. Caught out 3 of the light artillery, the anti-tank artillery units. And this positioning actually really bad for this anti-tank turret. It doesn't actually reach or shoot over these berms down onto tanks that are here, so the only time it'll be effective is at close range when you don't really want it to be, and shooting at any tanks that come up through this slice here. "14 minutes in." Normal game time for these ones has been roughly 20 minutes, so I do anticipate a push to come within the next few minutes from one of these players. Again, apology for spectator bugs that we're seeing. We're definitely we get more desynced as the round goes on. Pop quickly over to Master Gaming VR's perspective and sort of get an idea of where the live units are right now. I think we're still mostly in sync with the tank units that have been moving around, so don't need to quite rely on Master Gaming VR's perspective just yet. Still catching the artillery battles, these artillery trucks. Nice positioning from him here, but it's getting peppered by the other mobile artillery that's out there. Prefontaine losing his 2nd tower as well, so. Ooh, a heavy tank coming in. Finally, a tier 3 from Prefontaine. So we are obviously getting a spectator bug. Oh no, that was a tier 2. Oh. It's actually a tier 3 unit. It's over on this side doing some work, though. It just starts to come down onto that big line. And I think he's actually going to try and backdoor this over to Master Gaming VR's base. But it does not get far. There is a lot of anti-tank artillery there. That does not, does definitely do some work against a thick boy like that. Not sure what the proper play for Master Gaming VR is here, though, but he needs to try and get some pressure going here. He just hasn't been up on the front line of Prefontaine much at all. Instead, he's sort of been lurking in the background, having those anti-tank artillery do work. Look at this. Big army getting massed up here in the corner. Master Gaming VR isn't careful. The push is going to... Yeah, he's going to try and sneak into this side because really there's only one. Maybe this one can do some damage as well. But... he's got 2, really. He's got 2 anti-tank artillery that can definitely do some work. And here comes the push. The artillery truck's coming in. This is a full go from Prefontaine. He's sending in the artillery trucks, all his tanks. He wants to push in onto this front line. And already he's lost 1 tank. Does take out a couple of defending units. And yeah, he's in to the base of Master Gaming VR. How much damage can he do to the actual base? Not a lot, as he quickly gets peppered down. Man, he needs to deal with this unit back here because it is absolutely saving Master Gaming VR. It is dealing damage to so many tanks that try and push into his base. Into the perspective of the player. Get some real freaky eyeballs and mouth shown there for you too. You can see what Prefontaine is focused on here. Ooh, definitely tunneling, and he is getting hammered from a lot of different directions. He now sort of realized there's a bit of an army massing up against him on this side. He's just sensed his big push, and now it's MasterGamingVR's turn, so he's got to get ready for this. He has to get his defense into good shape, and MasterGamingVR needs to push right now. Not sure why that... Yeah. Here comes a... this is definitely a missile launch. Or sorry, an artillery barrage. We're seeing it delayed because that's why he moved all those troop trucks away from that area. A little out of sync here, but here's the push. MasterGamingVR coming in hard and heavy. His tank unit's pushing in the lane. He's got his heavy artillery that's going to follow him up on the backside. And he does get some damage onto Prefontaine's base. But that mobile artillery unit's not pushing up. Sort of just sitting there dealing with... Oh, maybe it's the right choice because he may get full control of all lanes. Prefontaine's trying to save his last tower that's getting pushed by 2 tanks. And there are so many tanks on his base. That artillery slamming into the anti-air, so now no more AA. This is not looking good for Prefontaine. This is looking like MasterGamingVR is going to take the tiebreaker. A 20-minute map number 3. But a nice job from him as he managed to get that mobile artillery into the right position and pepper the base of Prefontaine. And MasterGamingVR, with a little handshake from both players. Good sportsmanship. Takes the series and will be victorious. But a good series between both players. What a fun matchup to watch as they battled out. Apologies for all the tech difficulties that we did have. Hopefully we can report back and get these hashed out and fixed. We won't have this happen in the future, and we can always have clean gameplay being delivered to you. But either way, I think we did well with what we had and managed to catch a pretty interesting series between 2 equally matched up players. That was fun. Thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out. Much appreciated. Always love seeing people come back and hang out and watch the VRML streams. Like I said, there's going to be more VRML streams here in the future, and we're going to be having a completely redone layover, everything. Intro, it's going to be fantastic. So just keep your boots strapped in as more action comes at you at a bit of a higher quality. But yeah, I think that's going to be it from me tonight. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and tuning in. If you want to get involved, head on over to vrmasterleague.com/final assault, where you can register for the league, become a player, and start getting involved in some of the real good competition. Also, you'll find Discord, Twitter, and Twitch links, so make sure to join the community Discord. A lot of discussion on strategies per division and what to do with certain builds. It's definitely a good place to go if you want to try and get any sort of tips and tricks. That's it from us tonight. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. I will see you more action next week on this channel, so make sure to follow. Until next time, bye-bye.